If we learn anything from the book of Revelation, it is, as I have said before, God wins and Jesus Christ is glorified. God wins because he is sovereign, in total control of all that comes to pass. What does it mean to be sovereign? How sovereign is God? Can God be less than anything but totally sovereign in everything? Is it possible to be mostly pregnant? Pregnancy is something that you either are or you're not. There's just not a partial pregnancy or an almost pregnant. God is either sovereign or he's not. He's not mostly sovereign. He's not sort of sovereign. He is sovereign over all things. We have seen that he is sovereign over the events of the tribulation. He is sovereign even over the forces of darkness, over Satan himself. He controls how much Satan can do. God is also sovereign in the matter of salvation, the thing that is most important to us. God is sovereign. He is in total control of our salvation. In Revelation 14:6, we see, "Then I saw another angel flying directly overhead with an eternal gospel to proclaim to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation and tribe and language and people." Here's the gospel message that goes out to everyone. The gospel message is open and the call goes out to everyone. However, we also read in 13:8, "And all who dwell on earth will worship it," the beast, "everyone whose name has not been written before the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb that was slain." God has his people written in his book before the foundation of the world. And that phrase is echoed again in chapter 17 and verse 8. "And the dwellers on earth whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world will marvel to see the beast, because it was and is not and is to come." There are names that are not written in the book of life. There are names that are. This is God's choice. He is sovereign even over salvation. Ephesians 1:4 tells us that even as he chose us in him before the foundation of the world, before we were born, before we did anything good or bad, God had chosen his people, and Jesus Christ died for his people. There's not a drop of blood wasted that was spilled for people who did not accept him. He died for those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life from before the foundation of the world. That should give you great courage to know that you are in God's sovereign hands. Even the most important issues of life, he is controlling. He's not leaving anything to chance. He is sovereign. God wins, and Jesus Christ is glorified.